and the new one will be how to work with your scene file. So now the scene file, let me go back to the lecture. Here we go. So these are assets that available for you. Okay. You have terrain, distance 1, 2, and 3, and the mid. It doesn't name terrain. I just add the name, but on the original file, it look like this. Let me show you. Marches. Here we go. So you got a workspace there, source image. This is what you need to do. You need to just copy the scene, all of this, drop into your project folder, and that's what I did. I just let's pretend. Hold on. Let's take a look at that quick, and then we talk about how to moving them. So this one. Here we go. So source images. You're gonna copy everything inside source images to prevent mismatch the path, and put this inside source images. Now the images folder doesn't have anything yet, so you don't have to copy anything on this. So what I did is I just copy everything inside scene folder, drop into my project 2 folder. That's it. Scene folder, here we go. And source image, drop into source images. So let me really do it so that you understand it, just in case. And I'm gonna create new scene. Here we go. And then I'm gonna go to file. This is my first time gonna start this project, so I'm gonna call project window, and I'm gonna create a new, and I'm gonna name, how about Mars? You can name something, it's up to you. Mars chase. Let me call P2 marches, and then I'm gonna put inside my location, change to D drive. There we go, 3, and then I'm gonna click select. Now I'm gonna use all of this. I mean, you could remove some because most of, a lot of them you probably don't really use them. Just only a few, like movie folder, source images, clip and sound, scene, and images folder. But this time we're gonna do all. I like to just keep it simple. And now after you create it, when I go out, look at on my D drive. Okay, D drive. Where's my D drive? Here we go. Week 3. Where am I? Sorry. Series and project 3. Here we go. So P2 Mars Chase project. I'm gonna double click on it. Now I'm gonna start it to drop. Right now I am on source images folder. I'm gonna copy including Maya swatch. It's just because it's this scene actually Marty did it for us. Have to thank him, and then Greg modified them to make it more simpler and less file size. He deleted a lot of texture and deleted a lot of file. So Greg did a really good job. I am lucky because I don't have to do anything. So I'm gonna copy this and go to my source images. This is the folder, the project that I just created. I'm gonna just copy and paste them all. While I'm pasting that, I can go up one level, go to scenes folder, and then I go back to Marches, the one that I just downloaded. Double click on scene and then drop everything in there. So now you got everything you need for animation. So the rest of things is you modify them, you create a scene that has a camera shot, you animate it. Okay, so while we waiting, I'm gonna go to a Mars scene and environment. So environment env pieces. This is a separate piece that allow you to use. So it means you can referencing each one of these can be multiple times. You can have distant one, 5 of them in your scene, but make sure you organize. And the scene has been organized. It has an animation folder. Now these are, it depends on how you like it. This has been set using an anim folder, so it means any animation shot you will save it in there. You could save it outside too. The problem is when you save it outside, you might have so many files like original car, modified car in the animation and scene and something. So it would be like all over the place. So organized is kind of better. Now, let's take a look at the responding to this, the pace here. So basically, this is it. I just do a quick rendering for you guys. So each terrain object, distance is a larger shape you put in the distance. And then you have a mid level. So the mid side is the ground that are in the mid of your scene. And then you have close up. Now the close up one is really cool and interesting. Marty did this good job. You can scale this and texture will stay the same resolution. So it means you scale the ground as large as you want. You still see really detail on the ground. And the way it's mapped is a little different. It has they call mid map. So further away from the camera, they kind of not too sharp, and closer it will be sharp. So it doesn't matter how you move your camera, you will get a nice and clean sand look in front of the camera. So now we have one building only. Okay, so the building, you can referencing it as many as you want from the original file. You can even change the texture if you like to. So now when you change the texture on the reference file, it doesn't really change the original. That's all it is. You can do a little modifying, like if you want this part of the well, let's do it together. And now this one I modified it, so I'll show you how to modify the texture. It's really simple. The thing is you have to find where it is, that's all. And so now what else do I need? Okay, let's take a look at this. If I go to open, and this is what I'm gonna get. I did the right way. I set up the project. I have my project. I create a new project. Next time when I come back to work, I will not create a new project. I will set the project to this directory. Make sure you do that. Don't double click like what I was telling you last time. One moment, let me go back to here. So like when you go to your project, you don't want to go to scene, find your car or something and double click on it. Do not do that anymore, okay? Because you need to make sure that the file path is correct in terms of seeing all the texture. So right now I'm gonna try environment quick. So the high environment is I think this one great compositing them. So let me just open it to show it to you. Okay, and color space is changed again because I think Greg doesn't use the ACES. So now this is the environment that is imported. Can you see? And oh, by the way, guys, when you see the anim bot, you can delete them because Greg, if you know Greg, you know that he's using anim bot plugin. So that's why is whenever he open and save the file, it will save that information. So you don't need them. So now this is how it look. Let's test render it out. I'm gonna use Arnold because there's already a basic sky dome there. Let me open it. Hold on, I'm not going to render right away because it might take time. So if you work at home, your system might not fast enough in terms of CPU and memory, because low memory, it takes longer to render. I'm gonna change my test resolution to just 50%. Right now it's 1080, so 50% is about 540. Just camera one, and I gotta click IPR. Here we go. And it will have to calculate the map because these are not an usual map. It's a procedural map that the software called Terrain Builder or something that Marty used, it's generated. So basically you will get a really nice texture space, like the pixel of the texture. So, but some shot, if it said distance shot, so it means when you zoom really in, you might see the pixelation. So you have to avoid that. Mid level, like the mid level of, what does it say? Okay, color space was not matched. So because Greg doesn't use AC2, so let's turn this off. Color space, color management, I'm gonna turn that off. Don't use them. Okay. Output color, use OC. Nope. Oh, wait. I was right. We can just leave it on. Sorry guys, slow. And we just changed the render spacing to sRGB for now, so that less problem. Oh. Yep. So linear sRGB. Actually, this default one Maya has 709. It's quite good. I mean, I'm gonna just turn it off so that use whenever we set it up later. Okay. Here we go. So, hey guys, if people who are here will have that problem in this lab, you will have to turn off like what I did. People are online, you don't have this problem. So you should be fine unless you wanted to use the assist. That's fine too. So this is the scene you have. Okay, so the original scene, if you want to use this scene and rearrange them, perfect. But try not to modify this scene. You referencing it into a different into your new scene. I'll show you how to do that. Let's take a look at explore a little bit. For this scene, you still can move them, reposition it to make it slightly different. Let me viewport 2.0 may not work well with this texture, so but you could try. Now you can modify if you like. Let's say if I turn on press B key, soft selection, then make the soft selection a little larger, and then I can move. I can select this vertex, pick one, enable soft selection, and then I can make some change a little. You can try it, see if the texture changed so much. If it doesn't change, you could just leave it there. So as long as it doesn't destroy the look of the texture, like the quality is fine. So you can still alter, modify them more. Let me see, I zoom in. See, it look like this. So this has a distance, mid-level, and then the close-up ground. So now I can duplicate more because you might have the scene that the car is come from far away and get into this point, and the other car started to chase the first car, stuff like that. So now let's take a look at a individual scene. Now the low environment basically is no texture. So the name Greg is the one who named this. I didn't name it. So now let's look at on each piece. So I'm gonna go with the distance one. Don't save that. Here we go. And color space might have to turn off. So this is the original. So it looked like this. And if I render, let's see if I change the reference. Let me just test render. Here we go. Once again, we'll take a little bit of time to recalculate the procedural map. For the car, it's not procedural, so that's easy. It won't take. Yep.
No lines.
That's right. Thank you. So I forgot. So just add dome light quick, and here we go. So this is how it looks. And once again, when you import, when you referencing it, you can modify inside the scene. It will not take effect on this. But if we do, so just make sure that these folder, not this folder, like any original, don't touch them. You use it as a reference. If you wanted to touch them, you rename it into different name. Like for example, if I want to modify the distance one, like this scene, I'm gonna save as, and then I'm gonna call distance 1A, something like that. So you still have more option to modify the shape. And I'm gonna leave a IPR on because I want to see if I modify this, is it gonna take effect greatly or suffer my texture map or not. So let me move it. Here we go. So it's not too bad. So I think it's okay to move them. And mine is a little slow when I turn on IPR because it's trying to update it. Let me scale it. How about that? I just want to see if it's okay to do that big. Okay, so that's not good. Can you see when you scale too much? So your texture is kind of losing quality of it. So be careful about that. You can edit at some point, but there are still limitations. But this will give you more flexibility to reshape your terrain. And you might want to try to like bend the terrain. Let's see if I do the whole thing. Because what if I want it to be like the car's kind of going into a small narrow space or tunnel, something like that. So deform, nonlinear deformer, bend. See if I can do something just like that. Let me do curve first. Here we go. Hey, not too bad from far away. Can you see? So you could do a lot of things to form the to make it more variant in shape. Okay, so that's how you kind of manipulate them. So now let's talk about. I'm gonna bring not all of them, some of them. So new scene, and I'm gonna save the new scene. I'm gonna call, how about shot 1? And I'm gonna put inside animation, I'm gonna call, how about my scene 1? Make more sense than just chat. Scene 01. Let me put the name Chase scene 01. Okay, so this is empty scene, right? Now we can reference it. So I'm gonna turn on a reference editor. You can just import right away, and then I can click right here, this button, import reference. And I'm gonna start off with a ground first. So environment, piece. Now the ground is called ground close, and I wanted to merge into selected namespace, and everything else I'm gonna just leave as is. I don't need to add group because it's just only one. So reference, color space I gotta turn off. Here we go. So now it's inside the scene. Press F. It's just a little bigger than your space. So now this is the interesting one, the ground one. Let me do IPR rendering at the same time so that you can see. Okay, let me add light quick. Hi Marley. Sky Dome, here we go. So now watch this. This is a really interesting one. It's kind of intriguing me. So when I turn on scale, here we go. I scale the scene bigger. The resolution kind of really maintain it, quality. So you can make these ground planes like really huge. And it has fall off. It just like try to mimic like the earth on the edge of the earth, because when you do close-up shot, can you see it looks like a earth. This is really far. It's like 100 miles. No, it's not. It's just like infinite. So it's not really straight lines. It has a curve. Now if you put, let me add terrain. I'm gonna use referencing again. So I'm gonna try distance 1 first. Every setting the same. Use space name but merge. Okay. And color space change, no big deal. So now these things are too big. So it's really huge. So I will have to select my ground again. The ground close-up. Let me see. I'm gonna select the ground close-up and I'm gonna scale it even more. Here we go. I'm gonna move this guy down a little bit. It's taking a little slow. It's just because I turn on IPR. I just want you to see it. I'm gonna dip it into the ground. There we go. Let me go up a little bit. Okay, so now I can edit as need. Like I can grab all the edge. Let me stop IPR quick, so that is quicker. Okay, and I'm gonna deselect that. I turn on a soft selection. It's just because, so that, let me reduce it a little more here. I just wanted to move this down so that they go to the ground. This might not look okay. I might have to move this part a little bit, so because the texture might stretch. Because the terrain texture is, even though it's procedural, but it's not like this one. The ground is more automatic. Okay, so now when I do render, you should see, can you see? So you can edit them. And that's it. Now I can bring the car, referencing, sorry, right here. the car. And I'm gonna bring the original green car. There we go. And now it's somewhere there. So you might need to find the green car there. And once again, it has any but. You might have to go back to your original and delete them before you use as a reference. So now I think this guy is right somewhere. It's just so small. I'm gonna press F. Here we go. So let me turn off the IPR. I don't need it anymore. You know what it is now. Here we go. So that's the green car. It's still under under the terrain. Gotta move it up. Right there. Yeah. So and then you can rotate, reposition. Later on, I would create a group node or controller. I will talk about the rigging later. At this point, you don't have to, for the animation, the only thing that if you're gonna animate it, just animate simple move, rotate. That's all, and scale if you need to. And so that you can design your shot. Okay. So let me see, I'm gonna change to object space so that my rotation are matched with the orientation of the car. Now, can you see when I turn on move to, it use word space? So make sure, make sure you use object space. So that easier, okay? And it's always better when you separate controller. Like for example, you could just group it to itself twice. One, the highest one, it will be translate. The second one will be just only rotate, and the car will just follow all of them. So now, any questions about using the file objects and things like that? Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop. Let's come back on Friday. We do lecture one more time. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to manipulate the texture to make it slightly different. And before we leave, I can, using a reference one more time, I'm gonna add a building. So invite up. I think the building should be inside there. Car anim brick. No. Hey, where's the building? I have it last night. Let me check my. It should be inside here. It's just only ground. Oh, I know what it was. I think it was not setting there. I actually exported and I modify them. So, okay, I have to send that file to you. So, this file, let me check again, week 3. Scene, I have it. Where's my building? That's weird. Oh, yes, I did it last night. because it was not there. So let me copy that. I'll send this building to you guys on, one moment. Let me put, is in my, what drive is that? F drive, okay. Let me copy. One moment. I will give this to you. So, Marches scene. I'm gonna put in environment. Piece. Okay. So, now, I should have the scene invite piece building. Here we go. Yeah. So, and the building doesn't name correctly. You can scale them. Here we go. So that's the building. Okay. I'm gonna save this scene. This is my camera shot of scene roll 1. Okay. So that's it. I'll send this to the OneDrive, and I will link to this section on O2. I will put it right here. Okay. So, okay, that's it for today. Any questions, guys?